Donkey Kong, released by Nintendo in 1983 for the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, is a timeless classic that helped shape the landscape of video games. Designed by Shigeru Miyamoto, this title is renowned for being one of the first to feature the iconic Italian plumber, Mario. Considering the technical limitations of the time, Donkey Kong's graphics are surprisingly well crafted. The characters are iconic and easily recognizable, with particular attention to detail given the standards of that era. The soundtrack, although constrained by the NES's capabilities, has also become one of the most iconic in video game history. Donkey Kong is a coin-op platformer that introduced many gameplay mechanics still seen in platform games today. Players control Mario in an attempt to rescue his beloved Pauline from Kong. The game features 4 distinct levels, each with its unique challenges and platform structures. Climbing ladders, jumping over barrels, and dodging enemies add a variety of gameplay that contributed to the enduring success of the game. Donkey Kong brought several innovations to the world of video games. Firstly, it was one of the first games to implement a coherent plot and level progression, giving players a sense of purpose and accomplishment. Additionally, it introduced the character of Mario, destined to become one of the iconic figures in video games. The legacy of Donkey Kong is immense. It paved the way for Nintendo in the video game industry, laying the foundation for the massive success of Mario. Furthermore, its innovative game design inspired many developers and helped shape the platform genre. Donkey Kong is a timeless masterpiece that has stood the test of time. Its impact on the video game industry is immeasurable, and its simplicity and elegance in game design still provide an enjoyable and captivating experience today. Despite many years having passed since its release, Donkey Kong remains one of the most important and influential games in video game history. Donkey Kong Jr., released by Nintendo in 1983 for the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, is a compelling sequel to the original Donkey Kong game. Developed by Nintendo's Research and Development 1 division, this title features a shift in perspective, as players now take control of Donkey Kong's son in a quest to rescue his captured father. Building upon the success of its predecessor, Donkey Kong Jr. maintains a visually pleasing aesthetic within the technological constraints of the NES. The characters are charmingly animated, and the environments exhibit a level of detail that complements the game's platforming nature. The audio, while still limited by the NES's capabilities, delivers a fitting soundtrack that enhances the overall gaming experience. Donkey Kong Jr. introduces a fresh gameplay dynamic by reversing the roles. Players navigate Donkey Kong Jr. through a series of platforming levels, overcoming obstacles, and avoiding enemies to reach his captive father. The game incorporates climbing mechanics, requiring players to ascend vines and chains strategically. This alteration in gameplay adds depth and variety compared to the original Donkey Kong. The most significant innovation in Donkey Kong Jr. is the role reversal from the first game. Shifting the player's perspective to control Donkey Kong's offspring provided a unique twist and showcased Nintendo's ability to evolve gameplay concepts. The addition of climbing elements and different environmental challenges demonstrated the company's commitment to expanding the platformer genre. While not as iconic as the original Donkey Kong or later titles in the Mario series, Donkey Kong Jr. holds a special place in Nintendo's history. It contributed to the company's reputation for delivering quality sequels and refining established gameplay mechanics. Elements introduced in Donkey Kong Jr. would influence future Nintendo platformers. Donkey Kong Jr. is a worthy successor that successfully builds upon the foundation laid by the original game. With its charming graphics, engaging gameplay, and innovative perspective switch, it stands as a testament to Nintendo's ability to evolve and enhance its game design. While perhaps not as widely celebrated as some other Nintendo classics, Donkey Kong Jr. remains a valuable part of video game history and an enjoyable experience for fans of retro gaming. Popeye, developed by Nintendo and released in 1983 for the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, is a game based on the comic and cartoon character Popeye, created by cartoonist Elzie Chrysler Seeger. This title offers an engaging gaming experience, immersing players in the world of comics through the adventures of Popeye, Olive Oyl, and Brutus. Considering the technical limitations of its time, Popeye for NES boasts well-crafted graphics. The characters are recognizable and well-animated, capturing the visual style of the comics. The soundtrack, though simple, contributes to creating a fun atmosphere that suits the game's theme. Popeye's gameplay unfolds across a series of single-screen levels, each presenting unique challenges. Players control Popeye and must collect hearts thrown by Olive Oyl while simultaneously avoiding Brutus attacks. Collecting Popeye's emblem also temporarily grants invincibility, allowing the player to face Brutus without fear. Popeye introduces gameplay that deviates from the traditional platformers of its time, providing a game structure centered around collecting items. The mechanic of having to gather hearts to progress and protect Olive Oyl from Brutus adds a strategic element to the game. While Popeye may not have achieved the same level of fame as other Nintendo titles of its era, it has left an imprint in video game history as a fun and unique game. Its legacy can be traced in subsequent iterations of the Popeye characters in video game media. Popeye for NES is a game that offers an enjoyable experience anchored in the comic book atmosphere. With its unique gameplay and fidelity to the source material, the game deserves to be remembered as another success in Nintendo's extensive library of classic NES games. If you're a fan of Popeye characters or a nostalgic gamer from the NES era, this title might be an interesting addition to your retro gaming collection. Mario Bros., developed by Nintendo and released in 1983 for the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, stands as a foundational chapter in the history of video games, introducing elements that would go on to define the future success of the Super Mario series. Considering the context of its time, Mario Bros. Graphics are well crafted. The characters, including Mario and Luigi, are recognizable and well animated. The soundtrack, though simple, features catchy melodies that contribute to the playful atmosphere of the game. Mario Bros. Is set in the sewers of New York City, with the plumbing brothers Mario and Luigi working to clear the pipes of hostile creatures. The gameplay involves battling Koopa Troopas, Shell Creepers, and other enemies, using skills like jumping to hit enemies from below. The game is also notable for its unique level approach, breaking away from the fixed screen structure of many other titles of the time. Mario Bros. Was pioneering in introducing many gameplay mechanics that would later become foundational in the Super Mario series. Level design, enemy combat, and the concept of an underground world are elements that continue to influence subsequent games. The legacy of Mario Bros. Is evident in the evolution of platformer games. Its introduction of Mario and Luigi as main characters, along with innovative gameplay mechanics, laid the groundwork for the phenomenal success that would follow with Super Mario Bros. And the entire related series. Mario Bros. Represents a crucial chapter in the history of video games. While it may seem simple compared to modern titles, it should be appreciated for its pioneering role in setting the standards for platformer games and the lasting legacy it contributed to creating. Whether you're a fan of retro games or want to explore the origins of the Super Mario series, Mario Bros. Is an essential title in your collection. Nintendo's Tennis for the NES, released in 1984, features simple yet functional graphics typical of its time. The two-dimensional characters are well animated and easily distinguishable. The soundtrack, limited by the NES's technical capabilities, effectively accompanies the matches, while the sound effects contribute to enhancing the overall gaming experience. Tennis excels in its accessible and engaging gameplay. The game provides a basic representation of tennis, allowing players to engage in single matches or tournaments. Responsive controls and a variety of shots, including serves and volleys, add a good amount of strategy. While the game may seem straightforward compared to modern standards, it's crucial to consider the context of its time and the innovation it represented back then. Tennis offers various modes, including tournaments and single matches, providing a variety of options for virtual tennis enthusiasts. The ability to play against the computer or with a friend significantly enhances the title's longevity. While tennis may not bring revolutionary innovations, it contributed to solidifying the sports genre on home gaming systems. The game showcased Nintendo's ability to bring engaging and accessible experiences into people's living rooms. Tennis serves as an important starting point for Nintendo's subsequent sports titles. Its impact can be observed in the growth and evolution of sports games in the video game landscape. Tennis for the NES is a classic title that, despite its simplicity, provided fun and challenges for virtual tennis enthusiasts. Its legacy is reflected in the lasting influence it had on sports game design. Whether you're nostalgic for the early days of video games or a fan of retro sports games, tennis certainly deserves a place in your collection. Pinball for the NES, released by Nintendo in 1984, offers a clean and effective graphical representation of a pinball table. Details on the table, buttons, and ball animations are simple yet capture the essence of the pinball gaming experience. The soundtrack, although limited, contributes to creating an engaging atmosphere, while sound effects faithfully replicate the sounds of a real pinball table. The gameplay of pinball is intuitive and aims to recreate the authentic pinball experience. Players can control the side flippers with precision to hit the ball, trying to achieve the highest score possible. The game features various zones and objectives on the pinball table, adding a good dose of challenge and strategy. The title offers different game modes, including the option to play alone or with a friend, taking turns. This adds a social component to the game, reminiscent of shared pinball experiences in arcades. While pinball doesn't introduce revolutionary innovations, it succeeds in capturing the timeless fun essence of pinball. The fidelity in replicating the pinball experience on a home gaming system represents a significant step for its time. Pinball helped establish pinball's presence in console gaming, demonstrating that the engaging pinball experience could be effectively translated to the NES. It paved the way for future pinball games on home platforms. Pinball for the NES is a nostalgic title that offers an authentic pinball gaming experience. While its simplicity may seem dated compared to modern games, its timeless charm and fidelity to the original pinball experience make it a fun and memorable addition to the library of anyone who appreciates NES classics or the allure of pinball games. Galaxian for the NES, inspired by Namco's classic arcade game, maintains a graphic style faithful to the original. Colors are vibrant, and the alien spacecraft are well-defined. Although the NES's technical capabilities might be considered inferior to the arcade, the game still captures the space atmosphere with captivating visual effects. The soundtrack and sound effects, while simple, contribute to creating the adrenaline of a space battle. The gameplay of Galaxian follows the classic fixed-screen shooter style. Players control their spacecraft, engaging in destroying waves of strategically moving aliens on the screen. Alien spacecraft organize themselves into increasingly complex formations, requiring skill and quick reflexes to avoid enemy fire and take down the aliens. The game offers a continuous gameplay mode where levels become progressively more challenging. There are no linear progression levels. Instead, players constantly face growing challenges. This game model adds a component of challenge and replayability. Galaxian helped establish the foundations for subsequent fixed-screen shooters. It introduced the tactic of alien formations, an element that would become a cornerstone in many games of the same genre. The legacy of Galaxian lies in its lasting influence on space video games. It paved the way for many successes in the genre and demonstrated that space action could be thrilling and engaging even on home platforms. Galaxian for the NES is a faithful adaptation of the classic arcade, offering an engaging space gaming experience. If you're a fan of retro shooter games, this title provides a nostalgic journey through the golden age of fixed-screen shooters. Its simplicity, combined with its timeless challenge, makes it a significant addition to the library of anyone who appreciates NES classics.